Hello and welcome to Horror Hyperfixations, where I look at horror through a neurodivergent lens. I am Sam, your neurodivergent host, and today I've gone on a bit of a side quest. I spoke to the lovely Javid and Stella from the short film The Belladonna. As I talk about in the episode, when they emailed me and gave me a synopsis of the film and asked me did I want to see it, I was absolutely 100% sold. I will shout from the rooftops until I'm hoarse with my full chest about queer horror and independent cinema. And when you get that beautiful Venn diagram of independent queer horror, I am absolutely there. I don't have a huge platform, but I always want to use the platform that I do have to help promote small businesses, independent film, queer businesses, neurodivergent people, and just try and, help get the word out there. So The Belladonna is a beautiful, beautiful film. I urge you to keep an eye on local festivals. Go follow them on Instagram. We give all the details towards the end of the episode. They will be sharing what festivals they're at. Try and go and see this on the big screen. It was beautiful on my laptop at home, but I can imagine how beautiful it would be on the big screen with the big speakers. It is a beautifully, beautifully shot film. Stella and Javid were just absolutely delightful. It's always so nice when you get people on the podcast that you think, these are my people. They were so lovely, so generous with their time, so enthusiastic about their work, which is lovely. And just their relationship and sharing those stories from when they were little, I just wanted to cry. They are such beautiful friends, such beautiful collaborators and artists, and I just love that our conversation went so many places, and we ended up talking about Paris Hilton for quite a while. We will have no Paris Hilton slander. We support and respect Paris Hilton in this house, and we enjoy all of her movies and musical stylings. There was a little bit of an issue with the audio at Javid and Stella's end for a couple of minutes at the beginning of the episode. I've done my best to try and pull the audio tracks and match them up and line them up for the audio and the video. So please bear with me in the first couple of minutes. If it isn't perfect, I apologise, but we did have some recording issues. But after a couple of minutes, we sorted it and it was all good. So please bear with if you notice the sound doesn't quite sync up properly or isn't quite perfect. I've done what I can with it. It's only for a couple of minutes, so hopefully it shouldn't be too much of an issue. So enjoy the episode with Javid and Stella, and I will catch up with you again in a little bit. Hey, Javid and Stella, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. How are you both doing?
Hi.
Really good. Hello.
Thank you for having us. We're so excited to be here.
Really excited.
Absolute pleasure. I was so excited when you guys dropped me an email about watching your beautiful short, The Belladonna, and the opportunity to come on the podcast and chat. Because when I saw this phrase, I'm going to read this out because it's from the email. But when I saw the phrase, a film made with love by queer and female talent behind and in front of the camera, I was like, yes, whatever this is, yeah. I need to see it. I'm many things, but I'm always fiercely passionate about queer cinema, indie cinema, female-led cinema. So you said all the right things in that email, and I was like, yes, I need to talk to these people. And then you mentioned the word burlesque, and I was like, yes, we need to be involved with this. So do you want to tell the listeners a little bit about you both first, and then tell everybody about The Belladonna?
Well, I'm Javid Rezai. I've been a screenwriter for 9 years, primarily within the children's space, and
which I love.
Yes, absolutely. And this is the first project, I like to say the first project of the next chapter of my career, doing truly what I absolutely love, which is directing, writing more stuff that feels more really connected to me at the moment. And I co-produced it with Stella, who we've been best friends since we were like 7 years old. So
I love that.
Homecoming.
Yeah. My name's Stella, and I've been a musician, working as a musician for the last decade in the UK, and then a few years ago I decided to go back with this, so I kind of left it behind for music. And so I've been working in film and commercial and the timing of me coming back to film and theatre and Javid deciding to direct was so kismet and so perfect. And we basically one night got together to show our partners all the films we used to make when we were little, which Javid bossing me about. And we did a screening. Javid was so good, and we put them all back to back to make a half-an-hour movie. And we were just like, maybe it's time we rekindle the fire. And Belladonna was literally written in a week.
Yeah.
He was inspired, and within a week he had a script, and I was like, okay, I guess we're doing this.
Exactly. And we didn't scare our partners away with all that footage either.
I think that is fantastic. I love that you guys used to make films together when you were little. That is so cute. So I'm guessing you met in school. What kind of films were you making? Because I know me and my sister used to write little 2-people plays that were absolutely nonsense, but we liked to put on shows. But we never made films. So tell me more about these films. This sounds adorable.
Yeah, well, the films we would watch and the films we loved were very different to the films we made. So those are like completely two different things. The films and shows we would make, we loved, like we were Nickelodeon kids of like the late 90s, early 2000s.
Oh,
We loved all
me
that.
too.
We loved all that. Keenan and Kel, The Amanda Show. So we literally would like reenact our own versions of like those skits. So it was a lot of comedy. It was a lot of like sketch, and then a lot of music videos. We like were obsessed with all the pop princesses. So like Britney, Christina.
But then you tried your hand at a full. I mean, I would hesitate to say a full film, but it was
Which one?
Every time.
Oh yeah, and then we made a 15-minute. When we were, what, 12?
It was my first lead role.
When we were 12, we made a 15-minute drama called Every Time, based on the Britney Spears song, Every Time. And it was basically about 2 best friends who wanted to become stars, and then one of them dies. So it was kind of really simple.
It's quite dark for 12-year-olds,
Yeah.
which is absolutely the kind of 12-year-old I was as well. So I love that.
And then, so those were the sorts of things we were making, but then the things we were watching, we like loved horror films. But like we would terrify ourselves watching
And
them.
by we, Javid means he loved horror films and he subjected me to them. And I think I went about 5-6 years literally not being able to look into a mirror because I thought there was going to be somebody jump cutting behind me.
But
we would watch Scream and like I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Blair Witch Project. We like loved. Well, yeah. Maybe you didn't love it as much as me.
I came to love it. Like now I love it because I'm desensitized.
But that was part of like the excitement, I think, because we were way too young as well to be watching those things, and we would like sneak off. We'd take the DVDs and we'd like be watching it in the dark, and we just would feel so excited and the adrenaline of it. And then like to calm our nerves after, we'd like watch Clueless or Bring It On. And I think those two things
pairing.
shape us as creatives in a lot of way, and also shaped a lot of this film, The Belladonna, and like its tonally and how we tried to balance those two worlds together.
Yeah, I can absolutely see that. So before we get on to The Belladonna, I'm curious how you were making your films. What were you making your films on?
We had like my family's video camcorder.
Wow.
It was because we didn't have editing software, weren't privy to
No.
it. Javid would do this amazing thing because he was already a born director, where he would cut, he'd go like this, and then the scene would be just the next bit of whatever was on the camcorder tape. So he would already know the structure of the film.
You were editing in camera.
Real time.
We wouldn't.
That is skill.
He knew exactly what he was doing already at that age. He just knew how it was going to go, and he was like, nope, next scene, cut this.
Yeah, that's true. No editing. And then, so it was either like a signal, which is kind of cute now looking back. It's like we thought we were so subtle, but then it's like just us being like, or like a click. Sometimes we'd say like click. And then my dad, bless him, like we'd just subject him to like film it, and we'd be like, okay, you probably have a million and one things to do with your life,
But this is more
but
important.
this is super important and you need to come down and like record this film. And it would be hours. And then
Yeah.
we wouldn't just do the film. So we'd do the film, and then we'd do the premiere, and then we'd do the post interviews as well.
That's right.
So we would,
Because back then, when you had DVDs, you would have the special, features in the DVD where you spoke
Yeah.
about them. We would do the specials for the DVD.
this is
Well,
one of our specials for the DVD.
No, I love it.
Yes.
Like, I'm a physical media collector. I will never stop buying DVDs and Blu-rays, and I buy them for the special features. So I love that even as kids, you were putting the effort in for the special features. And honestly, I want to cry. Like, this is so wholesome. And just hearing this story and seeing the energy between the two of you and knowing how long you've been friends and doing this, it just makes this film like even more special because it's just so cute. I love hearing stories like this. So to move on to the Belladonna, can you tell the listeners a little bit more about the show and how it started? Clearly, you were born to work together.
Yes,
Let's all cry. It'll be really cathartic.
Well, yeah, definitely. I think that was that night we watched it. I think it just put the fire in both of us. I think part of it is also like when you look at yourself when you're so young, right? And your dreams are like endless and they're so full and there's like nothing that can get in your way. I think, after so many years of us doing different things and like figuring it out in adulthood, like seeing something like that together, especially like having that moment to do it. It was actually Leo, Stella's now fiance, boyfriend at the time, who was like, you guys.
Congratulations, Leo.
Very much.
Like really was like, you guys need to do something together. So that was definitely the genesis of like the project. So when we were like, okay, let's do this. We've decided we're going to work on a project together. I'm going to write it. I'll direct it. You'll star in it. We'll produce it together. It was just super exciting, like that first decision. And I think because it was so rooted in us, naturally, when I started writing, I just pulled from those references and those things we were saying that inspired us. So it felt like a very natural thing to write. Like I knew it would be fun to do something that was slightly darker and had like thriller, some horror elements, but I also wanted it to feel like glam and fun and something that could take audiences on an escape as well, like into a world maybe they've never been before. So yeah, within a week I'd written it, and the Belladonna, that was the start of it, really.
So what's the plot for anyone listening? Give them the elevator pitch. Give them a overview of the short, because it's very beautiful, and I think a lot of people would be really interested in watching it. So give us the little elevator pitch, and tell us a little bit about your individual roles, I guess, in the production.
My elevator pitch is probably not as articulate as yours would be because you've written so many summaries about this film and you are the writer. But basically, it follows the story of this character, Stella, whose mum passes away just before the film begins, who had always, and it's set in a burlesque club where her mum had been the queen of said burlesque club. And Stella grew up in this beautiful space watching these women and these dancers and these performers shine, and she hasn't received the approval and the validation from this mother in that role, and so she creates this need to be as successful, to be as bright, to be as shining as her mum in order to live up to her status, to who she was, the mother. And when the mum passes, there's kind of collapse of Stella's dream because she's no longer able to receive that approval that she so longed for. And so it kind of spirals into this realization that she had prioritized everything outside and everybody's validation and what she could give other people in performance, and she was gripping so tight to this need to be loved or seen that she basically just spirals. And yeah, I don't want to give too much but yeah, so
and that's where the film essentially starts, is like we meet Stella at this real whirlwind point of her life, and we follow her for the next sort of 16 minutes of the film within a few days. And it's all set in the burlesque club. And yeah.
And I produced it with Javid, and I'm also playing Stella, which was the honor of my life. When Javid told me the character Stella, I was just like, I felt very touched as well. I mean, me and the character have a lot in common, and I think there were a lot of conversations that we had that probably inspired the dynamic in that story as well. Yeah, and it was my first time producing as well. It's amazing.
Yeah, and I produced it with Stella, and then I wrote it and directed it. So we were wearing a lot of different hats, but I feel like that was part of the fun because we were kind of doing it together. So it was nice to have each other and that trust, especially because we've not made, we're not in the short film space. Like, we came from different creative careers to come into it. So it was definitely an exciting journey.
I think when you're making that journey, you will wear lots of different hats because you're learning as you're going. You said this was your first time producing. What did you learn from producing that you'd like take on to another project? Would you do producing again, do you think?
I think I probably would. It was a very specific kind of container that we created, so I don't know that I would do it with anyone. I think what we created together, I feel very safe with Javid. Like, a lot of the decisions we made were always aligned with the others. Like, I would say something to Javid and he was like, I was thinking the exact same thing. And I think that I got really spoiled in that. And it's a really intensive experience producing. I work, my part-time job is in administration, so I feel like it's a strength I have, but it's not necessarily the craft that I want to dive into because it is so cerebral, and I get quite perfectionistic and obsessive about things like that. So yes, for the right project, and if it was with Javid. But yeah, it would have to be like for something that I really loved. I don't know, or with a bigger team. It's very different when it's just two people.
Yeah. And I mean, we were lucky because we sort of started the project together and we had a very clear vision. And then we ended up building the team from us that felt like such an extension of us, our values, what we found to be important. And I think because we made this as like a real passion project, first and foremost, that allowed us to make sure we were working with the people we wanted to work with. We weren't being forced to do things we didn't want to do. And I think that also is such a unique, singular experience to be able to make something you truly love with people you truly trust, and can have the flexibility to find an incredible production company like we did, Dolph Regan, and an incredible exec producer, Mustafa Webby, who understood our vision without being like, we're just going to plop you and you're going to produce this short, and you sort of don't feel that connection to it. It's, obviously there are times you have to do that, for whatever reason. But I think this project in itself felt special in that it truly was, a passion project that we were able to ensure everything felt like us and our values and everything we believe, how we would like to work.
Yeah.
Now, talking to you guys now, I can absolutely say with my full chest that this project feels like it represents you guys and who you are. It's a beautiful, beautiful short. That when, like I said, when you emailed me, I was like, I'm sold just from hearing it was a queer project and that it was female led and that burlesque. But when I was watching it, I found it very, very moving, very, very emotional. And for me, this whole podcast is about neurodivergence and the way I see the world and the way my guests see the world, even though it wasn't a theme of the film. I found myself very much connecting with Stella and her struggles, because I struggle with imposter syndrome for everything I do. So even though that wasn't the angle of the film, for me, I really connected with that, and I could feel what Stella was going through, and it was an incredibly powerful performance. So well done. It's just so lovely, and obviously we don't want to say too much because we want people to go and watch it. But it's a beautifully shot short as well. Not to ever put down shorts, because I love shorts, but sometimes when you find somebody's done their first piece, whether it's their first writing experience, first directing experience, sometimes you don't get that attention to detail and effort that you guys clearly have made. This is a compliment. It doesn't sound like I'm going there, but it is. There's a lot more. Sometimes when someone sends me their first feature or their first short, I'm like, great, yeah. And I always want to champion indie horror and indie cinema and queer cinema. But sometimes you have that fear of, oh, this is going to be terrible. And it's always a really pleasant surprise when it's not. And, you know, the story was beautiful, the performances were beautiful, but visually it's such a stunning spectacle. What were your inspirations there for how it looks? Because it feels very dreamlike, almost like you're trapped in a dream but trapped in a nightmare at the same time. Sort of a nightmare with Stella, but also it's this dreamy, soft, beautiful looking work of art.
Thank you.
I don't know if I'm making any sense, but where did the inspiration come from?
There's like, I suppose, two sides to that as well, like the actual physical work with our cinematographer Emmy Wren, and how we wanted the camera to move, how we wanted the camera to feel. And then obviously in a world like burlesque is the set, the costume, and, you know, that part of it. So we thank you firstly for your kind words. And then, yeah, so when I met Emmy Wren, who's our amazing cinematographer, she is so badass. Sorry, are we allowed to swear? I don't know. Okay,
you can swear as much as you like. Please go ahead.
She is such a badass. Like everyone who was on set, like, because there was one day we had like 25 plus supporting artists for like the audience scenes, and everyone was just fixated on Emmy, because, you know, it's like most of the film is actually handheld, and that was always the point. We wanted to differentiate the world of the stage from the world of backstage. So visually, what we try to do is that anything that was a performance, and we have a few performance like watching, we were in the audience with the crowds, and we were watching this spectacle, the lights. It's glamorous, it's fabulous, and you feel sort of, I wanted it to feel this quite cinematic, and that we were being taken into another world. And then the second you sort of come off stage, everything's handheld, like the camera's kind of in everyone's face. It feels kind of claustrophobic. We filmed at Bethnal Green Working Men's Club, which is like a legendary, iconic, incredible club here in London, with so much history. So already we had like dark corners. We had places we could like...
We had the energy of the club.
The energy of the club was there.
It was a character.
And 100% Bethnal Green Working Men's Club just turned into the Belladonna, truly. So that was visually what I knew from the very start. That's how the film needed to feel. It needed to feel that we were constantly with Stella and that we were constantly in there with her, like sometimes even uncomfortably so, like close to her. And then comes, my favorite, which is the set design and the costumes. I mean, how lucky were we that we got to make like a burlesque film and then work with unbelievable creatives, like our production designer, Leo Turnbull, Stella's fiance, and Louis Mueller, who is our art director. I mean, L squared, as I called them, just understood everything we were saying in those meetings.
Yeah.
Like, I wanted it almost to feel like you could touch and like smell everything in that dressing room and in that club. And to do that, we had to make sure that, like, even if it was on screen for 1 second, it was thought about. And Louis and Leo truly like understood that, like down to what is going to be in Cherry's cocktail, like what is going to be on the side of the dressing table, what is going to make this feel rich and alive and like has years of history in it.
And also, like, I think it was also a discussion that we made about time. Where is this set? What time era is this set in? And we wanted that ambiguity, and I think they really delivered that because it doesn't really land anywhere. It could be at any time. And,
because essentially time for us, that's not what the film is about at all. Like, I just wanted it to feel like a place that felt like otherworldly in a way, like this club that people haven't been to. And I always say for set design, I had heard like a few years ago, Nancy Myers talking about when she did The Parent Trap, the 96 or 7 with Lindsay Lohan.
Masterpiece.
Yes, totally. And there's a scene where Annie goes back to the house and there's a sign that says "Welcome home, Annie," that Elizabeth the mother did. And it's on for 2 seconds, but I read an interview where the set or production designer did all that with buttons because the mother is a fashion designer. And like, obviously a fashion designer would use buttons to write a sign for her child. And that was like my North Star. When I would go for those meetings, I was like, everything needs to be thought about and everything needs to feel real. So that was sort of our inspiration and ideas for why we filmed it the way we did.
And the costume, obviously, and the makeup. I mean, I was on cloud 9 the entire week. I've never felt so fabulous in my life.
I know. Shout out to
incredible.
Lucy James, our costume designer, Shasha Brat, our makeup and hair designer. I mean, the costumes, we would spend hours in warehouses with Lucy, and like something would just not look good, and I'd be like, what is this? Like, is this gonna look good? And then all of a sudden Lucy's like, put it with something else, and I'm like getting chills, like, oh my gosh, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen.
It's also like the nightmare outfit. I won't say more than that because obviously we don't want to spoil anything, but the nightmare outfit, which you don't see much of in the end, but she spent 15 hours sewing that overnight, and it was just a glorious piece. And again, we don't see that much of it, but it's just wearing it brings you into I didn't even have to do that much to go into that world. It was just there in front of my eyes and on my body. It was incredible, and everybody just brought their 100%.
100%. And also the second half of the film, Stella's wearing kind of one outfit, and that was especially made corset that was beaded, especially by a London designers called Dash, and they made it for our film, and it's in Lucy's warehouse, and we're gonna bring it out whenever we can, just to know that I think those things always add as well to the richness, like whether you realize it or not, something is made with like true love. And every time I watch it, an intention, yeah, I love that. It makes it 10 times more special. And I love set. I mean, set design in any film for me is like my number one thing. And I love films that are like just like Scarface. I always have to say, like, Scarface for me is like the number one like set design ever. I mean, it's just so fabulous and camp. And I always say Scarface is the campest film of all time.
Of all time.
Fight me on it, it is. But yeah.
I've never seen it. It's one of those films. I had quite a sheltered childhood with watching films. So when I hit 18 and moved out, I had the whole world of films to catch up on. And I'm like, I don't know if I'd like Scarface. But now I need to because of your recommendation for the set design.
This set design is like, I could talk about it for hours. And also, so stop me now, but Michelle Pfeiffer. Michelle Pfeiffer, when the first time we see her and she's wearing this gorgeous, iconic dress with her little gorgeous bob. It's like I've never seen anything more glamorous in my life. In another world, I love horror, and I love that Belladonna is a psycho glitter thriller, as we're calling it. But in another
psycho glitter, I love that.
But in another dimension and world, the Belladonna is like a gangster mob film in my head.
Ooh.
Stay tuned for number 2.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, I never want to see shorts as a pitch for a feature. They can exist beautifully as themselves, but could there be a world where it becomes a feature and it does have that vibe where you sort of move from the glamour and burlesque more into that crime world? That would be amazing.
Don't get
Could
Javid
you write that? I mean, you're an award-winning writer, Javid. You could write that.
Who knows? I actually love the Belladonna as a short. Yeah. And I think also because we're like still very early on in our festival run and kind of coming out into the world, I'm more and more intrigued to see, as is what people are thinking. And then you never know in the future. But for now, I'm excited to see what people have to say.
I would definitely do it with costumes. I would do it to get back into that corset.
You should do, saying about festivals, we'll talk about those in a sec, but you should do as many appearances as you can where you whip all the costumes out and wear them again and get to show people, because again, I wanted to cry when you were talking about all the things like the detail and the intention of the set design and the costume, because I love film and I love the effort and detail that goes into things like set design and costumes, and I'm not creative or clever enough to do those things, but I do dream of a world sometimes where I could do set design and get to do all those tiny little things, like this is the pen that this person would write with, this is the poster that will be on the background, because I do notice those things in films. And it's just, not to be condescending, but for new producers, writers and directors to put that level of detail in, it gives me hope that people will continue to do that, because I worry with things like AI and people thinking more about creating content for YouTube than making art. What you've made is art. It is beautiful. And knowing that there are people out there. See, I'm such a nerd. I'm so sorry. But actually, I'm not sorry. I'm owning these things now, and I'm stopping apologizing for it. I'm working on this in therapy. It makes me so happy that there are people like you who put the effort in, like you said, like little tiny things that you may only see for a second, or that people on your team spend 15 hours making a costume that doesn't get much screen time. like you said, it puts you in that place. And I've heard so many stories from actors and things saying, what shoes does this character wear? And as soon as they put the shoes on, they know who that character is. And just those little bits of detail that a lot of casual viewers might not pick up on, but people like me who are nerdy, who like to sit and analyze everything, really appreciate that effort you put in. So thank you so much. Saying about the burlesque of the whole piece, why burlesque? Where did that come from? Because I can't say I've seen much in the way of horror thrillers with burlesque included. We've got films like Suspiria that are set in a ballet academy, and there's a very small but beautiful subgenre of dance horror. But burlesque isn't something I've seen. Where did that come from for you?
Well, it was a conversation about which container this would be held in, because we knew the storyline, and there was, a couple of explorations earlier on with worlds that kind of encapsulated the glamour and campness that we wanted to build on. And it kind of dawned. I remember when I was 19, I went to watch Crazy Horse in Paris, and that was cabaret rather than burlesque, but I remember being so moved that this was an art form, that this existed. And I remember when we were in talks, I said to Javid, what about cabaret and what about burlesque? Because that's a world that exists today and is so nuanced and also dynamic. So we could, explore different ways of expressing that. It doesn't have to be one thing. And then Javid he started doing research, and he picked up what was an old coffee table book of burlesque, and he opened it and he read and saw pictures of how burlesque can be a protest art. And he was like, done. We're going. I'm so inspired. And he just made the world completely, like he lived in it his whole life.
and so thanks to very early on, because we have like no skin in the burlesque game, and I was like, we need to soak it all in, and we need to learn everything we can. We need to go watch shows, and we got in touch with Petit Pois, who's an amazing London and UK based performer, and told her about the project. We had a coffee, and she came on board very, very early on as a burlesque consultant, stayed all the way through, did some choreo with us. She's in it and then she also recruited and helped us bring on our 4 other Belladonna burlesque girls: Turkish Delight, Miss Coco Bell, Donna Poderosa, and Spooky Bones. So we really, even though we didn't know much, going in, I think we loved that aspect of it, because going back to the escapism, it is a world like people might have certain ideas about, people might have certain expectations or not really know much about it, but we're inviting them into this new world. But in doing so, we had to make sure that, we were doing everything right, that felt respectful to this amazing community of talented, amazing people. So I'm grateful we had our burlesque icons along the way with us.
Miss Coco Bell was actually present. She serendipitously was running burlesque workshops 15 minutes away from where I live. And so that's how I came to know her. So I was going there just before the shoot, just to make sure that I understood the art form, in whatever small form I could before the film. We went on a massive 3-month research budget, obviously, but it was amazing and tantalizing. And it's so funny because learning about the history of tease and the science of tease, it gave me such a much deeper appreciation about the whole thing, which is obviously the case, right? It's very different being a viewer to understanding the craft of something. And these performers, they build their whole act from the ground up. They choose the name, the persona, the costumes, the hair, the makeup, the shows, the bits. It's unbelievable. It's one of the most involved art forms, and so stupefying to watch and be a part of.
Yeah, we implore everyone to
Go.
find their local closest burlesque, performance, because it's just, and it's so varied, and it's so rich. And that was also what we wanted to make sure we were showing a variety of different types of burlesque and what burlesque can mean to different people. So we made sure to include, the protest aspect with as one of Cherry's performances. So yeah, it's been a lesson that we've loved and a community we've loved to be a part of, and who continue to support us now as well. So we're so grateful.
I think it adds that level of authenticity as well, of casting actual performers, because every now and then you do see films outside of the horror genre where it may be dancers, and you can clearly tell that they've cast somebody they want in the film and then they've had to learn to dance, and it doesn't always come across as natural or as wonderful as if they cast somebody who was a dancer, for example, who could also act. So it's really nice that you went for actual burlesque performers for that level of authenticity, rather than somebody who's had to learn to do it on the job. Because sometimes that does come across, but it's really lovely that you've embraced that community and used those people. I'm curious now, because you said about like the history of burlesque and the names and things. What would you guys' burlesque names be if you had one?
Oh my gosh, I can't believe I've never thought about this.
Oh, I have had a burlesque / drag name in my back pocket for about 15 years. I would never do either of them because I can't dance, won't dance. And I have zero physical coordination or know how to be attractive in any way. But it would be Dahlia Nightshade. To me, Dahlia Nightshade is a glamorous 1920s, 1930s kind of goth bombshell. She may have done some like early silent era movies, just going a lot. But yeah, that's who she is, and that name has been in my head for a very long time. I had a moment where I was like, I can do drag, I'm going to do that, and then I was like, there's no way I'd get on stage. There's no way I would perform in front of people. There's no way I'd do any of those things. So we'll get rid of that. But the name, I keep the name because I love it.
It's a beautiful name.
Thank you.
While we think about that,
I think, it came to me as you were saying. So I when I was doing music, I released my debut album. It was called Medusa, and I became obsessed with Medusa and her representation in female literature, because I also did another short film by my best friend as well, Edie Defbach, around the mythology of Medusa and how she's represented in female literature as female rage and like the whole thing. So I think I would do something like around that and
yeah, with the
something
snakes.
feral with the snakes, because the snakes kind of also go into tantric Kundalini world, which is something that I'm really interested in. I would definitely go there.
And the snakes would look beautiful with your beautiful curly hair as well.
This is the thing. That's why I really saw myself as Medusa.
Love that. Yeah. While I have a thing, just because you reminded me as well, I just want to also say a huge shout out. Also to like Shay Carr, who plays the character of Tan, is a drag king in the community as well, even though they're not performing in the show. We again wanted to make sure we're bringing people from like the London scene, and their drag king name is Jamie Foxx. So I mean, hello.
I know that name. I know them.
Yeah.
Because I have a lot of friends in the drag scene in South Wales, and also a bunch in London. And one of my friends goes to a lot of shows in London, and I've seen many videos of Jamie. Jamie's hot. I love a drag king.
Yeah, Magic
Love a
Dyke.
drag king.
Dyke is
Yeah.
the show.
So I just wanted to throw that out there. So
No, it's good. It's good.
No, shout anybody out. We love that.
At my wedding, we had a cocktail called Livin' Javida Loca.
I love that.
Oh,
Done.
I think it's
Done.
like Livin' Javida Loca is like a party animal, loves a smoke, loves a martini.
Dirty.
She's nasty on a night out. Yeah, that would be Livin' Javida Loca.
I love.
That is genius. I love a pun, and that is just beautiful. Congratulations, well done. That is amazing. Your wedding sounds like it was brilliant. If you've got little puns in there, things like that. So where can people see the Belladonna? That's the most important thing. We've talked about how beautiful it is and how lovely I think it is, but we want people to go see it. So where can they see it? I know you've been doing some festivals already. What have you got coming up?
As of this tape, we are going to be stateside next month at this incredible festival called Bronze Lens Film Festival in Atlanta, Georgia, which is our first Oscar qualifying film festival. So we are
Congratulations.
to be a part.
Are you going over?
We are looking into it. We really hope we can. And then
It's so expensive to travel internationally at the moment.
and then we are going to be in some UK festivals, which are BIFA qualifying festivals, Mansfield Film Festival. We're going to be in Worcester International Film Festival. That's as of filming now, but I would, because we're so early on, like those haven't even happened. Those are, in August and September. I would say I hope if you are intrigued, you can just check us out on Instagram, because we're just always updating like where we can be watched. We're not going to be online yet, but hopefully in the future we will be. So we're just taking it all in now on the festival circuit for now.
Amazing. So with the festivals, you've been partnering with Cabaret versus Cancer. How did that partnership come along? Because that's wonderful. Well done.
Thank you. That was another one that we wanted to ensure that we were like embedding ourselves within the burlesque and cabaret community in an authentic way. So we had gotten in touch with Rose, who runs and founded the organization. And yeah, we're going to be partnering with them. So every festival we go, we bring flyers. We're trying to raise funds wherever we can. And it's just our little way to thank, the burlesque community, and also try and make sure that we are doing something meaningful as well. I mean, and giving back wherever we can.
That's beautiful. Well done. So where can people find you? What is your Instagram handle so that people can come and follow you and keep an eye out for the festivals?
So you can find us on the Belladonna film on Instagram. And that's where we're going to be posting all the latest news, and hopefully if any screenings do come by, that's hopefully we'll be posting potential how do you say, like giveaways or tickets.
Yeah. And we're also gonna be at a lot of the festivals. So like if anyone, like, we just wanna chat as much as we can about the film. So like I hope people do come and watch, and then we can just like keep building this cool burlesque horror. Which I feel like we didn't talk anything about horror. Sorry, I maybe talked too much about.
No, it's fine. Tell me your favorite horror films. I always want to know people's favorite horror films.
You go first.
I can't go first. It's such a diverse. It really depends on the day or what kind. If we're going by the horror film that managed to scare me the most, I would say Sinister.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, that one really like screwed me up. But if we're going, no, it really did. And because I obviously, having been raised with Javid making me watch those films, I don't get scared anymore. So that one scaring me, I was like, oh, okay. But then controversial because Javid hated it, but I really did like Weapons. I thought it was really
Like it.
cool. I don't think that it could have been that long. I didn't think it was necessary, but it was nice to see
Far
an
too
original.
long.
Far too long, but it was a beautiful original character in The Witch, and it was so beautifully shot, and I thought there was some details there that I'd been really lacking in the kind of the mainstream horror space. Obviously there's many smaller horror films which is doing amazing things.
Yeah.
Like, what's the one, I always get the name wrong. It's an Australian horror with the hand and she touches it.
Talk to Me.
Talk to Me. I thought that was
Beautiful
really
film.
beautiful.
Mine is maybe a bit more common, but I'm also going by like what shaped me from a young age and like changed my whole view on cinema would have to be Wes Craven's Scream, and written by Kevin Williamson. Amazing. Because of everything like that it did at the time, the age I was when I watched it again, like the feeling of like I shouldn't be watching this, but I am, and I'm terrified, but I'm also like rooting for these characters. And then I'm also like super heartbroken because like the two hot guys are pillars, and I like realize that like love is never gonna be enough, and like my future is gonna try and kill me. So I think in that way, like Scream has to kind of be my number one.
Yeah.
And
for you, that's what
for
I
me.
always think.
And then
Drew Barrymore.
The Drew Barrymore. And then we open our film, The Belladonna, with a scream that goes into the opening song and the opening credits, and that's my love letter to Scream. The opening scream of Scream. That was why I did that.
Love that.
As in Stella, we're doing it.
I was going to ask you earlier, but we've hopped around with things, which is lovely because that's how I love to chat to people. Were there any horror films that visually you sort of gave to the cinematographer and went, this is what I want it to look like? Or did it sort of organically come about? Because to me, it was giving me some like Brian De Palma vibes of like that, like I said, like that dreamlike world, but also like rich and sultry. Very Brian De Palma vibes, I thought, which I think that's quite a compliment, actually. So, good job!
Gosh, I'm like, you've taken my breath.
Am I your new favourite person?
Yeah. I think it always goes back to that genesis of us.
Yeah.
It was like the Screams, the I Know What You Did Last Summers, with the Jawbreaker, with the Clueless. Like, how can we mix it all
together?
Camp
of it all.
Yeah, and how can we make it...
And Drop Dead Gorgeous. Which is genuinely.
Which hasn't aged
I still
well.
haven't seen that. That is on my list of films that I need to get around to at some point.
But yeah, it's... I think it's... There weren't specific, like, we want this shot to feel like this. It was just encompassing that feeling of those two sort of worlds and different films that we loved. How can we just bring that energy into the film? Yeah.
And it was such a like manifestation of the symbiosis of creative minds, because
I love that. Sorry. I just love how like that sounded amazing. It's so
beautiful
deep.
Soundbite. You can snip that. You can use that everywhere. The symbiosis of creative minds. Love it.
No, I love it.
It's funny. I don't think I could ever be a director. I just don't know if that's where my draw is. But Javid has a world in his brain, and he knew what this, and he knew it because in the script, I remember reading it. The description of the room was there's incense, and there were these like really colourful pieces of description, and you could tell by the way that him and Emmy then created what they created, Emmy being the cinematographer, that it was so clear, his vision was so clear that then she was able to take it with her own creativity, with her own vision and interpretation of what he had said, and create this world. And that's why film is so incredible, because you get all these separate artists, and then suddenly everybody's locked in to this one vision, and you all understand what it is, even though there's no physical representation of it, because 100 references could be there, but still this is its own unique thing, right?
Yeah.
And it's just, when it comes together so symbiotically, so naturally, so like aligned, I think that's a testament to the director, absolutely, because your vision is so clear, and it just read off the script. You had no doubt in your mind what room you were walking into when you were walking into that script. So yeah, so even though there were no direct references, it's like everything that Javid had ever consumed just became its own world, and that was the Belladonna, and that's why it means so much to me that I was in that world, because that's what we created together, and we were always in that together in our brains, right?
Yeah. And it was, and like part of that was going back to that feeling of being so like lucky that we had this sort of singular experience of doing this. I think because Stella and I were like just giddy with energy to do this, and we just started like, we just were like on this moving train, like we actually were like, could not stop, me in particular, but
I was just being dragged.
and I think because we were like just on this train, like the right people were like wanting to jump on, they were like, yeah, like get me on there. And I think maybe it's because of the setting, maybe it's because of the genre, maybe it's because of the fact we had like a Paris Hilton quote on the front of the script. It could be any of those things.
You're not going to tell what it is?
Yeah, the Paris Hilton quote was, "Some girls are born with glitter in their veins," and that was the.
I love Paris Hilton.
Thank you.
She's an icon. Me and my best friend listen to her musical stylings in the car quite often.
Amazing.
Stars Are Blind are nothing. Yeah.
Stars Are Blind. It's just, I was literally having a conversation with her yesterday, because she's got like a girly pop playlist in the car, and one day on the weekend I was walking around the house singing Stars Are Blind. I don't know which little bit it was, but like a snippet of it was on loop in my brain, and I just kept singing it, and I was like, why are you in here? Because I'm a like metal and hardcore and shouty scary music girly that does enjoy musicals and a bit of pop every now and then. But I was just like, Paris Hilton, why are you in there? But
somehow there's this like subculture with all three of us in it, of people who love this really, really girly music but love horror.
It's this weird Venn diagram, isn't it? And we're in that weird little... Yeah. Well, to bring it back to Paris Hilton and horror, have you guys seen Repo the Genetic Opera?
No. I thought you were going to say House of Wax.
Oh, House of Wax is majestic and beautiful. I love it.
Please.
Of course you guys have seen House of Wax.
This is a Venn diagram.
No words spoken badly about House of Wax.
I love House of Wax.
Which I'm so glad we're on this. But can we just quickly just take a moment for the marketing material, which was...
See Paris die. Genius. Do you know you can get hats now? There's an American clothing brand that does hats that say, "See Paris die," and I need one.
Oh my god.
Just a moment. I feel like cultural moment that was. But yeah.
And she lent into that. She was like, excellent, yes, let's do this. It made her richer. It made her more famous. And I love that for her.
Yeah. She's been just she lent into it. She was like, this is it. This is my brand. She's always been brilliant.
And she's an ADHD queen as well.
Yes, she is.
And she's a fantastic advocate and
yes, she is.
Spokesperson for neurodivergent people. So if I didn't love her back in the day when she was doing A Simple Life with Nicole Richie, I love her more now. And to say about Repo, you've seen it, Javid. It is one of the most beautiful camp things you've ever seen. But Stella, you need to watch it. It is a rock opera set in the future, where people's organs are failing, and there's a company that is loaning them organs. Yeah, like Repo Man. And if you don't keep up with your repayments, the Repo Man will come and take them. But the Repo Man is the late great, which makes me hurt to say, Anthony Stewart Head, who is one of the most beautiful humans ever. He's in it. Paris Hilton's in it. Horror legend Bill Moseley is in it, and they're all singing, and there are varying degrees of singing ability, but the songs are so iconic. You might have heard Zydrate Anatomy, because it goes viral on TikTok every now and then. But
I actually can't believe this flew over my head. This sounds like
I think this year is the 20th anniversary. It is one of the campest things you've ever. Yeah, it's one of the campest things you've ever seen. Paris Hilton's in it. She sings in it, which, yes, her character is amazing. But another reason why I've loved her over the years is they were struggling financially on Repo, and she bankrolled a load of the production. She brought a load of her clothes from home so that they were costumes for the production, and the film probably wouldn't have continued to get made without her involvement. And it is sort of flopped in the cinema because it's the guy who made Saw 2 and 3, Darren Lynn Bousman. I love this film, if you can't already tell. So that was his
made Saw 2.
Yeah, he did Saw 2 and 3. So he did those, and then it was I'll do those, and then you do the film I want to do, which was Repo, which was based on a stage play. And it flopped, but it's got cult status in the same way that Rocky Horror had cult status and it's got bigger and bigger. But yeah, I think it's the 20th anniversary at the moment, and they're doing a load of promo, and Paris is yes, let's go, and Paris is pushing the promotion for this anniversary for the film, and I'm just yes, girl, you were in this really weird little film years ago, and you're still so proud of it, and still I love her. Yeah. I want to be friends with her.
I'm so glad we got to speak about Paris Hilton, actually. I'm so glad.
Me too. I love you guys. I want to cry. You're making me so happy because you're just delightful.
Yeah, I think Paris, and also I'm just thinking, great use of Stars Are Blind in a film, Promising Young Woman by Emerald Fennell.
I still have not seen that.
Watch that, because that's a great use of Stars Are Blind.
Oh, amazing. Yeah. Okay. It's on my list of things I need to get around to watching. And after seeing her adaptation of Wuthering Heights, which I loved, I'm sorry all the people who hate it, I love it. It's one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. I ugly cried through that film because it's so beautiful, and I don't care how much of a dick he is. Heathcliff could choke me and pick me up by my Corsa any day.
I'm with you.
And Kathy could, to be honest. Both of them.
With you.
I'm gonna keep my mouth shut because I hope to be in a Margot Robbie film one day.
Oh, she's so beautiful. Both of them are so beautiful. Yes, I want that for you. I want you to be in a film with Paris Hilton and Margot Robbie.
Yeah.
Hey, you know how many times there's some famous person shows what they tweeted 100 years ago, and it was one day I'm gonna be Spider-Man, and then there's Spider-Man. So this is that moment, guys. One day I'm gonna be in a film with Margot Robbie and Paris Hilton.
Love that.
I love that. Let's make that happen. Okay, so we'll get all your links and everything popped in the show notes so people can follow you. And I genuinely mean this when I say I cannot wait to see what you guys work on next. Not to put any pressure on you, but it feels like whatever happened in this creation process in this week that you wrote it, you guys created magic together, but then also with these other people. And this is why I love talking to people about film, because you get to hear these stories and it's so lovely. I love to hear all the little stories, and it sounds like the crew you worked with really connected, understood that magic, added more magic to it and like made like a little film family. So I can imagine you going back to those same people and working with them in the future. So I'm really excited to see, again, not to put pressure on you, but what you do with that same crew again, because like if you guys work together again, you can see the connection you have, and that comes through in the Belladonna. So it's exciting to think of what you guys will do next. I'm so excited.
So much. We're excited to see what happens, and we're just excited that we got to make this, you know, together with an amazing crew. And we wanted to make a film that felt true to ourselves. We didn't shape it, shift it, move it at any point to like, this will be successful if we change this. This will do better if we do this. We were like, just do it. You know, do it the way we want.
And ultimately, at the end of the day, we did it for little us.
Oh, yeah, we did.
Oh, don't, I'll cry.
They would be so
They
proud.
would be so proud, and they would 100% have the DVD.
They would love it.
They would have the DVD.
They would be all over it. They would be reenacting it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This really resonates with me right now because I'm trying to wrap this up for us, but
Sorry.
No, it's fine. No, what you said about doing it for little us, I've been talking about in therapy about trying to live my life at the moment of how teenage Sam would look at me and go, she's fucking cool.
Yeah.
And how I'm doing things now that I could never have dreamed of when I was 14, 15, and being able to live as authentically myself as I can. So you saying that, like doing it for like little Stella and little Javid, like that really resonates with me because that's what I feel like I'm doing with my life now, is trying to do everything for little Sam, who couldn't or wasn't able to do all of those things or wasn't comfortable enough to do all of those things, and I'm trying to live for her now. So that resonates with me. That's beautiful. So thank you for sharing so much of your stories and yourselves. It's been an absolute delight to talk to you, and I feel honoured to have been able to watch the film for you because it genuinely was beautiful. And I'm looking forward to hearing what people think at your next screenings, because I think it's going to do really well. Yes, it is a genre piece, but I think it can be appreciated in all sorts of different film festivals, not just genre festivals. So it's really exciting to, like I said, see how you guys do at the festivals and what you do next in your careers, because you're both clearly very talented. And yeah, I'm really excited. Basically, I'm really excited. I said that a whole bunch of times then.
We're excited that you're excited.
Yay!
Thank you for having us on your incredible podcast, which is amazing.
Thank you, my pleasure. As I said, it's always lovely to talk to people about their craft, their love of film, and it's genuinely a delight to chat to both of you. So everyone listening needs to go and make sure they can see the Belladonna at their closest festival, wherever they are in the world. And thank you again so much for giving me so much time and talking so beautifully about your lives together. It's not just the film, it's your lives together, and that really comes across. It's beautiful. You're my new best friends now. I love you guys.
Yeah, we love you. Hang
Yay!
Listen to
Thank you so much, guys. Bye.
Thank you.
Hi, thank you so much for watching or listening. I hope you enjoyed the conversation with Javid and Stella as much as I enjoyed having that conversation. They are absolutely delightful. At very least, go follow them and like and share and save a bunch of their pictures. I think as horror fans and as movie fans, the least we can do is follow a bunch of these pages and directors and writers and all sorts of people sort of within this industry, and like and share and comment on as much as you can. It takes seconds, doesn't cost you anything, and that reshare or that like could be what helps push it out to somebody else who then goes, oh, awesome, I want to go see that film. And then we are just helping support the industry. Sometimes we can't get out to the screenings, or we can't afford to download the film or buy the Blu-ray. but we can share posts and stuff on social media for free, and that can really help support independent artists. So please, please, please do that. Anyway, enough about me trying to support indie cinema and indie horror and queer horror. Please do give the podcast a follow. If there's a particular episode you think a friend will like, please send it to them. Say, hey, these weird gremlins are talking about insert film here that you love. So yeah, any support, again, likes, shares, follows, all helps more people find the podcast and helps me find more people I can chat to and connect with, because the little Venn diagram of queer and neurodivergent horror people is just so beautiful, and I love it, and I like making a little nest in there, making friends with everyone. It is just beautiful. I'm rambling now. I'm a little bit excited. I've had too much coffee and not enough coffee at the same time, so I'm going to go. But yeah, thank you so much for listening. Love you, appreciate you, and I will talk at you again soon. Love you, bye.